right.
Good morning and welcome to Today in L.A. I'm Mike Amos. He's Forrest Lee, and we've got a show for you today on a Friday. Thank goodness it's Friday, and the reason these helmets are out in front this morning is because we got football games. We got the Elba Tigers going at Op, and we talked about yesterday what a scoring fest this is going to be. Op and Elba both scored over 50 points last week, and they're going at it now. Wow. So that's going to be this weekend. Then, of course, the Charles Henderson Catholic game will be televised live on Troy Cable. We're doing something for the first time ever tonight. We're going to run two high school football games live at the same time.
Two great games.
So the Brantley-Luverne game, you folks that cannot make it to the Brantley-Luverne game can watch it live on Troy Cable Channel 2. I want to say that it's going to be either Channel 2 or Channel 10 or possibly Channel 17. Is that right? Steve Camp, is that right?
2 and 17.
2 and 17. So
Channel 2,
the Brantley game will be on 2. Is that right? The Brantley-Luverne game, that's a huge rivalry.
Wow.
From Brantley will be live, and last week's coverage was beautiful, and expecting a great job again this week. But
who's this new play-by-play guy that you say is the best ever?
Well, I think he's very good. His name is Fox. First name is Fox, and his last name is I should know it.
That's number one Brantley versus I think number one Brantley in 1A. And Luverne's like number 7 in 2A, I believe.
That's right. So two highly ranked teams, and we'll give you the name of those.
Of course, we have breaking news yesterday that really is heartbreaking for Troy and their football team. La Monroe apparently didn't quarantine their players very well, and we had talked about this a couple weeks ago, how they had to shut down practice when 9 players tested positive for the coronavirus, and apparently it never got any better. So now the Sun Belt commissioners stepped in and said that the game on September the 5th, that was literally going to be played next Saturday, has been canceled, and now that game will not be played until December the 5th, also causing the Sun Belt Championship to move back a week to December the 12th. So Troy now, unfortunately for Coach Lindsey and his players, will have to start the season on the 19th at Middle Tennessee State. Then they'll be on the road the next week at Provo against BYU, and then the next week at South Alabama in their brand new stadium in Mobile. So 3 straight road games to start the season. Coach Lindsey and his staff and players cannot be happy about any of this at all.
Yeah. And of course, the 19th will be the season opener at Middle Tennessee, like you said. And then on the 26th, again, you'll travel to Provo, Utah for that game. And then hopefully that's going to be an 8 o'clock late night game that we can, that'll be televised. And also then the 3rd, is it October 3rd that they play South Alabama? Is that it?
Yeah, but then they turn around and their first home game now will not be until October 8 on a Thursday night, which you would think would not be a great crowd on a Thursday night. You might have a decent student turnout, but, I mean, this is really tough for Troy. I mean, these guys were getting ready for a game. I mean, to literally find out this yesterday, it's got to be tough.
They've been
you got another 3 weeks before you even play.
They have been knocked around so many times, and they've been out there. I know they're sick of football right now.
Yeah, they've got to be sick of practicing. I read an article yesterday. Coach Lindsey is going to have to totally rework these next 3.5 weeks and let these guys have a lot of time off to rest. Because you can't have them out there practicing every day. They'll probably go every 2 days.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
The next 10 days, and then the next 10 days after that. There's country music star from Florida Georgia Line walking by my house right now with his 2 German Shepherds.
Oh, you say, what's his name?
Brian Kelly.
Brian Kelly.
Just walked by your house.
Yeah.
Hey, Brian, it's us. Brian, it's us.
They actually have 3.
Florida Georgia Line is one of the most popular country bands in America. So pretty unique. A star sighting already this morning. Great.
Did he have security, or would he buy
That's the security, them dogs.
Oh,
Those dogs are trained.
Two 2 German Shepherds.
Yeah, exactly.
He actually has 3, and my daughter worked for the Kellys last summer at
Exactly.
at
Come on
the
up.
Tribe Kelly there, right close to right there at Grayton Beach. Abby worked there for about
Bill Rice Jr. has just stepped up to the podium, and he's going to be with us this morning.
But I mean, you got to feel for Troy. I mean, Coach Lindsey, and apparently, the medical staff has done a wonderful job at Troy University. You're not hearing of any cases anytime lately of players and them having to shut down practice. So they did all the right things. Let's say Lon Monroe didn't. So tough break for Troy. But I guess that's just the kind of year we're going to have in football. You're just going to have a lot of unknowns. Let's just be happy if they end up playing. Period. So
one of the restrictions for Charles Henderson tonight, you've got to buy your tickets online. You cannot walk up and buy a ticket to go to the game tonight. I heard that on the radio coming to the station this morning. And
I wouldn't even know how to buy a ticket online.
You have to go online somewhere, I guess, maybe the school website.
Yeah.
Well, how do you show that you have a ticket? You got to show your cell phone?
Yeah.
I reckon so.
Bill Rice Jr. has just joined the show.
You also
My wife's gonna be working at the
Auburn has
game.
had to cancel practice for the second day in a row due to positive COVID-19 test results. So you're starting to see it at Auburn as well. So it's just going to be really interesting to see. I guess we'll have football for sure this weekend. Johnny Williams and his staff have put together a game in Montgomery, Austin Peay, and Central Arkansas. So we will have college football, I would think, for sure Saturday.
We had Johnny on our show on Wednesday, and he was excited. The whole nation is watching this ball game, and of course the game between Austin Peay and Central Arkansas, and to see how they do it and how they separate what they call the 6 feet from each other, and the way they'll seat them at the game, and should they wear their mask during the game, which I think that is supposed to wear your mask during the game, and but then they say, but if you're eating or drinking something, you take your mask off. Yeah. So, hey, what if somebody's eating the whole time?
Yeah. Charles Henderson Middle School won last night.
I would be drinking a Coke or water in the hot game all game long.
Popcorn.
What was that about Charles Henderson?
Charles Henderson Middle School opened up the season last night with an 8-0 victory over Dauphin out of Enterprise.
That's a big win.
Yeah.
8-0.
And that's Coach Moncrief.
Coach Quay Moncrief.
And congratulations to him. He's one of the bright young faces in coaching.
I'll say
Coach
this,
Moncrief.
It's very exciting at that level, the middle school level. I did it in Georgia, did it here in Troy. It's just super exciting because you're right there in the middle of things. But I don't know what the restrictions are at the Luverne. When Luverne goes to Brantley, I hadn't heard of any stadium restrictions there other than masks. But
The university has 70 cases this week.
Troy University?
This week.
Oh, boy. 70 cases of the
Now that's probably faculty and staff, but probably mostly students. And students.
Yeah, and that was a report today.
University website.
University websites. Of course, that's out of 6,000-7,000.
Well, you also got to see if it's university wide, so it might be 16,000.
Yeah.
It's as a percentage of the student, as a percentage of the
Montgomery, Phoenix City.
As a percentage of the whole student body, it's probably tiny. In other words, you can spin that as maybe good news. If they're doing the whole university, 16,000 students have been tested and only 70 positives, that's incredibly low.
Of course, that would make it be, they would do Troy University system-wide, yeah. And, I'd like to get that.
You had all those games played in high school football last week. I think over 100 teams played, and as far as I know, everybody is fine. From what I read, I hadn't heard any stories about teams having to shut down after last week, so I guess that's a good sign.
You had probably 30 games last night, 15 to 30.
Well, the key with the high schools is
teams.
they don't test. I guarantee if they tested, there would be so many positives,
I know.
And they are. The people that have the virus, 90% of them are not going to even have symptoms. So, I've just thought of you could have somebody that rushes for 250 yards and scores 4 touchdowns, and then the next day they give them a test and they say, you've got the virus. Yeah. And you say, well, I just ran for 250 yards with the virus.
Give me another dose.
Give me another dose.
Yeah, you're right. But it is serious business, and, something we all are conscious of. And
well, let me interject this, Mike. Get out when you get a chance. Go fishing. And we got a new sponsor. The Brundage Country Club is a new sponsor, and we'll start promoting them heavily soon. And
that's the best deal around, isn't it?
It's pretty good, yeah.
Yeah, no question about it. A good golf course, and there's always plenty of room to get on. Like you can run down there or call down there. They don't need
do not need a tee time, but I'd recommend on Saturday and Sunday between 12 and 3 is very, very busy. I'd come in the morning or come late that afternoon. And we had a great crowd yesterday. There wasn't any interruptions. And we open on Tuesdays and Wednesdays around 9 o'clock, and the rest of the week we open up around 8. And the green fees are $12 on the week, $15 on the weekend, and every 9 holes that you ride a cart is $10. But you can walk for $12. A lot of people walk or walking right now.
Exactly. I want to tell you, find me the courses in America that you can get greens fees for less than $12.
That's right. That's right.
And they're in great shape. We've had a lot of rain this summer, but they take pride.
But let me ask this: does that green fee include 9 holes or 18 holes?
Oh, the greens fees are you play unlimited golf for $12.
Isn't that something?
Mm-hmm.
Amazing. I mean, when I played at Trojan Oaks all the time as a kid, with Charles Bradshaw, we couldn't pay $12 for greens fees back in 1980.
Yeah, that's right. As far as
wow, breaking news out of wrestling. This breaks my heart. I grew up watching this guy.
No, don't tell me no.
The great Bullet Bob Armstrong has passed away.
Oh, Bob Armstrong.
And of course, Bob Armstrong had a great wrestling following down in Dothan and throughout Alabama. Lived in Alabama for a long time. But Bullet Bob Armstrong has passed away at 80.
80 years old, and I just knew you were going to call my hero out, Mike. I just knew you were.
But everybody has to remember Gordon Soley down at the Farm Center in Dothan, and a lot of great football.
Live from the Farm Center in Dothan, Alabama, is wrestling.
There was another Bullet Bob that was a basketball player or a football player.
Bullet Bob
Hayes.
And then Bob Pettit, the great Bob Pettit.
Bullet Bob Hayes for
the
Dallas Cowboys.
Name me all the great athletes who were called Bob.
Big Robert Horry. Big Bob Horry.
Big shot Bob, yeah.
Big shot Bob.
Bob Lemon.
Bob Lanier.
Bob Fella.
Bobby
Bob
Bonds.
Lanier.
Robert Charles. Bobby
Bob
Brown.
Gibson.
From Goshen. Basketball guru.
Is it Bob Greasy?
Bob Greasy.
Bob Baumhauer.
Big Bob Baumhauer, yeah.
Bob Greasy.
And Bob Baumhauer's son has transferred to, or is it his nephew?
To Troy.
Sons of Troy.
So Bob Baumhauer, the great Bob Baumhauer's son, is playing football for Troy University.
I hope he sends down some good food down there for him to eat, Of
Bobby Orr.
This weekend, Troy, tomorrow from the...
I don't want to play Trivia Pursuit Sports.
From the vet, tomorrow they'll be having their... I reckon now they'll have a scrimmage instead of normally it would have been what we call mock scrimmage. Now I would think they'd go back to a full scrimmage. Wouldn't you think?
I don't know if you could risk it.
There you go.
Coach Lindsay was mentioning yesterday that he's actually kind of happy that some of these guys are going to be able to get back that have been injured and nicked up. So I wouldn't think they'll scrimmage again. He did mention yesterday in the article that Jacob Free out of Brantley is backup quarterback.
Wow.
I told you. I mentioned early in the year that I thought he was doing well.
He was really pushing, Gunnar Watson, and then also the Toole kid, Kyle Toole, the freshman, is your third string. The way it read in the article, and your fourth string guy's the junior college All-American, Parker McNeil.
That's right. Isn't that amazing?
Very, very strange how you bring in this guy that was a junior college All-American 2 straight years, and he's 4th string on your roster.
I know that. You're exactly right. But don't you agree that Troy's got 4 real good quarterbacks?
on
I
paper.
imagine they'll be down to 3 probably here when the season starts. I imagine somebody's going to be transferring out.
You think can they still do that?
Well, I mean, you can transfer out. You might have to sit out a year, but if you don't feel like you're going to be able to play.
Mike, I think the COVID has put a stop to the transfers for the time being. I think that
We talked about that.
Transfer, you might not be able to play immediately, though.
A
That's
big
right.
UCLA tackle transferred to Baylor.
They can't. I don't think legally you cannot stop a kid if they want to transfer. I mean, this is America. If you want to go to another college, you can go, but they
you
can.
would have to sit out. Though.
Yeah, but if your school has canceled football and isn't going to play this year, what difference does it make if you got to sit out? At least you could go to the other school and practice and get to know your future teammates, and you'd be playing next year.
You can go down to 1AA and play in the spring.
Well, I tell you what, I'm proud of the young man from Brantley. I noticed that from the very beginning of practice, and of course that was a long time ago, it seemed like, that he looked good, he looked strong, he looked confident, he looked like he was running the show real well. And
What class is he in school?
how many years? He got 2 more.
Junior.
Yeah, he had 2 more years.
Did y'all mention that Georgia lost their wide receiver superstar again to an ACL tear?
Did you hear that,
Blaylock.
Mike?
Blaylock.
Is that the kid that came out of Phoenix City?
No, it's Blaylock from Georgia.
The best receiver is
Dominic.
the kid out of Hoover.
Yeah.
Oh, it is. Well, is that who got hurt?
I'm not worried.
Apparently, it's the guy that I think is Blaylock.
Yeah, Dominic
I
Blaylock.
tell you what, you would think someone would just say, "Hey, let's just sit down for a week, and maybe we'll go through some, work with weights and do a few things like that. But let's just shut down practice for a week and come back just fully ready to go."
I have all the high school scores from last night. Do you want to hear them?
Not unless they're close to this or have a certain interest. Give us a few.
In our viewership.
Yeah, in our viewership. Who do you have right now?
I mean, there were several games. I mean, I'll try to see if there's anybody local that played.
Well, just run them down a little bit if you want to.
No, I mean, it looks like from what I'm seeing, nobody local played.
A lot of North Alabama teams played, though, didn't they?
Yeah, Crenshaw rose into Troy to play Pike Liberal Arts tonight. Wayne Grant.
Yeah, that's going to be a big game. As of course, this was a game last year that Crenshaw won the game, beat upset Pike.
There's going to be a big difference in personnel.
Yeah,
but I wouldn't. Right now, the score is 0-0.
Exactly.
And I'm sure Wayne Grant has a plan, but it's a good game to watch.
Right
or
now,
the
the Montgomery Catholic game, Charles Simpson game is tonight from Veterans Stadium. 7 o'clock kickoff, and as I mentioned, it'll be live on Troy Cable starting around 6:45, and so that's going to be a big game. That game will be on Channel 17.
Which game?
Channel 17, and I don't know if I've ever gone to a Channel 17.
Well, it's there. It'll be interesting to see it.
And so 17, and then, of course, the Luverne Brantley game tonight also live on Troy Cable, so you can jump back and forth.
Well, here's our situation. Here's what people are faced with.
Got a phone call.
Good morning. You're on Today in L.A.
Good morning. I got hung up on somehow.
Okay. All right.
Well, here's our. Carrie is a teacher at Charles Henderson High School. She's working the game. Teachers work the ticket office or whatever. So she'll be there, and
So she's an English teacher working the game.
Yeah, and but we were talking about what about Jack and Maggie, our 4-year-old and 9-year-old? She said, I don't think they need to go to the game because they'll be running around everywhere, which is true. What do kids do at ball games?
Yeah, that's right. They have fun.
And so we said, okay, the kids got to stay home. Well, somebody's got to stay home with them, so I'm keeping the kids. So because COVID and because you have small children, you've got 3 people who would have been at the ball game who are not going to be at the ball game.
Yeah.
Well,
but
I mean, what would people think if a little 4 and 9-year-old were running around not social distancing, or would you ticket the 9-year-old for breaking protocol?
But
you need to bring your kids down to the beach because there's about 1,000 of them doing it every day on the beach.
Well, they're probably not getting tickets either.
As large as that stadium is,
you ought to be able to find
spread out. Don't put restrictions on where you can sit. It's going to be roped off, I guarantee you.
Yeah.
And then you got the problem of having to clean it up after you get through.
Exactly right.
I saw last night that some of the big movie theaters are reopening. The movie theater chains like Carmike.
Yeah, you know, I think that right there, that business right there has been hurt worse than anybody. But the people like Nasdaq and
Netflix,
Netflix, and all those folks have flourished, you know. But
Dad found out about Netflix during COVID-19, and the rest is history. He's found his happy place.
Me too. Well, I got a smart TV for Father's Day, and I don't know what in the world to do. I mean, it's unbelievable. YouTube and
The only game last night that was local, I mean, kind of local, was Macon East, 128 and up and over Valiant Cross. That's that new school up in Montgomery, I guess.
And they've got a quarterback at Macon East that's really making a lot of noise. His name is, well, I thought I knew his name, but I don't.
You know, Macon East might be getting bigger enrollment because I've heard of some families in Montgomery that were sending their kids to Montgomery Academy or Trinity or St. James, which have real high tuition. They're sending them now to Macon East. Which
also, this is a game you'd be interested in, Dad. This is two guys you know pretty well. Bobby Gotze, the former Troy quarterback who played after Turk at Troy, is now the head coach at Madison Academy, and he played Scottsboro last night. That was coached by Don Jacobs, the former Troy assistant for 10 years. Of course, Jacobs played at Alabama as well at quarterback. But Madison Academy beat Scottsboro last night 30-6.
Oh, man.
Isn't Don Jacobs from Scottsboro?
Yeah, that's his home. He was a legendary player at Scottsboro.
I taught both his girls.
I'll tell you something about him, and of course, you're exactly right. You taught both his girls, and of course, you know, he had lost one of them in a terrible accident. But I'll tell you something about him. Not only was he quarterback at Alabama, but in high school, he averaged over 30 points a game and was the number one prospect in the state in basketball.
Wow.
And they told him at Alabama to pick which one he wanted to go to, and so he picked quarterback. But another thing is he is a great golfer, too. He's a real good golfer.
Aniana played in three straight championship games in football. Well, the third time was a charm. They beat Charles Henderson.
That's right.
For the state championship.
You know, that linebacker got redshirted at South Alabama. He originally was at Alabama. His name was Raleigh Cole. And he made, I don't know how many tackles against Charles Henderson in that game. And it's like a Richard McBride situation. Somehow he's still playing. And he transferred to South Alabama. And he's the starting linebacker for South Alabama this year.
Kid from Aniana.
And he's the kid that played against Charles Henderson in the state championship game. It's pretty crazy. McBride and Cole are still playing.
And John Johnson was on Charles Henderson's team, too. And he played at Troy. Of course, we lost John about a year ago in a motorcycle accident.
We probably didn't say enough about John. What a great young man he was. While we're speaking of people that we're going to miss, a good friend of mine died this past week. Joe Dotson was a very good friend of mine. He was a couple of years older than me, but he was one of the guys I looked up to as a kid growing up playing high school football. Joe Dotson, one of the best high school football players maybe to ever come out of Troy. He was a linebacker, running back, and tough as nails, and of course became a very successful stockbroker over in Jackson, Mississippi, along with his childhood friend Bob McGee. And of course, Joe Dotson's memory will live on in the hearts of a lot of people that knew him. And of course, he was the son of O.W. Dotson, the long-term principal and superintendent here of Troy Schools, and great hunting buddy of Heldon Fowler's and Mr. James Smith. And boy, I would love to have known all the great seafood and big fire, all the great suppers, the dove suppers, and you ever gone to a dove supper?
Yeah.
And of course, I used to have those all the time. But great friends, and again, of course, Joe Jr. Is dead at the age of 70.
So what's better, going to a dove supper or a quail supper? What's better?
I would prefer a quail supper, but if you go to the dove supper, you're going to have grits. And I reckon with quail, you'd have to have grits too, wouldn't you?
Dove and grits go together for some reason.
But see those...
what about pigeon and a dove? Is a pigeon just like a dove tasting?
I would say it would be close to it. And a robin. Did you know I had a friend of mine who used to shoot a robin with a BB gun and get his mama to fry him for him at night. They say that a robin costs tasted close to a dove.
You know, in the springtime you see them all the time, but I can't remember. I hadn't seen a robin in the last couple of months, but you see them in the spring.
Well, not necessarily the spring, but actually in the colder months too. Though I see them. They're beautiful birds.
What does squirrel taste like? Didn't you feed squirrel too?
Oh gosh, yeah, squirrel tastes real good. Squirrel is really good, don't you like squirrel?
I probably had it, but didn't know I had it when I had it.
I have never had squirrel.
Oh gosh, fried squirrel! I used to have fried squirrel all the time. When I was growing up, that was the hunting you did. You went squirrel hunting, you went rabbit hunting, and some people went coon hunting. You heard Raymond say
he did it all.
He's eating coon and
Possum.
Possum. He said that sweet potatoes and possum. But
one of those I've had is rabbit. I mean, rabbit's pretty good.
The rabbit's really good.
Now I do like chitterlings, fried and boiled.
Never had them.
What?
I call them chitlins.
Oh, chitlins.
I like
yeah,
chitlins.
yeah.
My grandmother used to fry them and boil
Oh
them.
yeah.
Yeah, everybody thinks I'm crazy. When I moved to Birmingham and we were at a party one night, somehow we got a conversation about weird things to eat, and I said, I swear in Troy, Alabama, the people eat clay. They
do.
dirt.
They do.
Some
You
people
can buy it in
eat
stores.
And everybody thought,
Really?
oh, you're
Yes.
making that up. You're
I didn't know that.
crazy. Blah, blah. I said, no. I said, look it up. And they Googled it, and they were just shocked.
First, it's supposed to have a certain amount of protein in it or something. I don't know what it is.
It's really a lot of Afro-Americans, the elderly, that's part of their staple. And you'll see it in bags at the counter in some convenience stores.
Of course, I don't know.
I'll try
It
to
might
bring you
not
a
be
bag.
just.
I've never heard of that in my
Yes.
life.
I've heard of
Oh,
it.
yeah, that's definitely true. I
Black
remember as a
clay.
kid.
But it's not just an African American thing.
I believe y'all, but gosh.
It's a lot of people that eat it because of certain nutrition that you get from it.
Now, Tom and Mayra Finley at the Country Kitchen in the wintertime would have chitlins on certain nights. They sure did.
Yeah. Well, of course, another thing that a lot of folks, like frog legs. Gosh, I love
I've
frog
had them.
legs.
They're good.
Have you ever had a frog leg?
I have. They're good.
Oh, yeah, I've had frog legs many times with you on trips at different places like Louisiana.
Yeah, frog legs are just like chicken. To me, it's good.
Well,
Very
everything's
good.
just like chicken.
In fact, sisters for a long time on their seafood buffet, they would have frog legs. Many times.
Steve Camp cooks alligator, and alligator's really good. I've had that several times.
Alligator is real good, especially an alligator tail, and is really good. Just like a lobster tail. And everybody talks about lobster, but what's good about a lobster is the tail. The meat. Some of the lobster is not very inviting. I don't know if you've ever noticed that about eating a big lobster.
I have eaten a lot.
Food portion of the show today.
But I love lobster
I
now.
learned last night. I watched some of the speeches going on, and I finally watched Trump last night. It was a 70-minute speech, but I am convinced that Ivanka Trump is the ugliest daughter of a president in the history of presidents.
Why do you say that?
I'm absolutely kidding. She's one of the most beautiful women.
Hey, I knew there's something coming up back from that. I said, what is he talking about?
Yeah, she wins the prize for the most beautiful presidential daughter.
Stunning to look at. I mean, it is unbelievable. She is so beautiful. It's crazy.
Yeah, you're right. No question. His wife's quite pretty too.
But she's had some work done, I think, and she's not as beautiful as she once was 20 years ago.
Well, I think a very sweet person.
Years old, I think now.
Yeah. You mean that speech last night went 75 minutes?
Oh, it was the longest speech ever. It was crazy.
It's got to be. But you know what? And he just keeps reeling it off. Very few times does he ever pause.
Did he read it from a teleprompter, or did he just...
He read from a teleprompter, and he didn't look straight ahead. Did y'all not watch this? It was awful. He was like to the left, to the right. He never looked straight on. I'm sure there was a teleprompter right out in front of him, but the big news about that last night, there was over 1,500 people on the White House lawn. And of course, everybody was freaking out about that, because of the coronavirus. But everybody was side by side, acting like it was no big deal. And the majority of the people I saw in the crowd didn't
hope they sprayed for mosquitoes because they would have definitely been out that time of night. That would have been Mike. That would have gone into what 2 o'clock this morning, or what time would it be?
It went very close to midnight. Yes.
And you know what they gave them for appetizers? Frog legs. They had frog legs.
No, you're joking, aren't you?
Yes, they had frog. They passed out frog legs to the buffet.
Are you serious?
No, I'm not serious.
I will say though, Dad, you like fireworks? That was the greatest fireworks display I'd ever seen in my life. It was
Isn't that amazing? So he spent a bunch of money on that.
And he had an opera singer singing up there for like about 10 songs in a row. It was crazy.
Oh man, but it went on and on and on, didn't it? Yeah, I'll be honest with you. That went into the late hours. That was past 11 o'clock last night, wasn't it?
Yeah, they were showing all these old, senators and everybody in the crowd. I mean, there were several people there probably in their 70s up till midnight last night for sure.
Well, of course, those folks that did stay up and watch it, I'm sure they taped it and they'll probably run it again, don't you think?
I'm sure you'll see it again, and you can probably pull it up on Google right now.
Yeah. Well, the election is exactly when, Rice?
November sometimes.
November the what?
It's
a year
a
from
Tuesday.
now, is that
November
right?
the 3rd, I believe.
Is it the first Tuesday in November?
November the 3rd is a big, big day, no question about it.
And then you have the swearing in January. But some people say if the president loses, he might not leave anyway. So we'll see.
What do you mean by that?
I've heard people think that he's going to declare an emergency and stay.
Well,
and then Al Gore said no, that the military will come in and remove him and take him out.
Oh, where are you getting all this?
From the Drudge Report.
Isn't that something? Of course, ladies and gentlemen, we're having fun.
COVID-19 cases yesterday, unfortunately, it's going back up a little bit this week. We were in the 30s, high 30s, and now it's back around 44,000 as far as in the United States. But in Alabama, cases have come down, so that's good.
Yeah. But now, the thing about it is, if you wanted to be tested in Troy, Alabama, what would you do and where would you go? Or where would you go and what would you do? Huh?
There's 800,000 tests given a day, so I would imagine there's somewhere in Troy you can get one pretty quick.
In Troy and Pike County, where can you find out whether or not you have the virus or not?
The hospital. I took one at the hospital.
Okay.
You can probably go to Pike Internal Medicine. You can probably go to Sarah. You can probably go to a lot of places.
Well, I would like to know.
Call your
I think a
local
lot of
physician.
people out
They'll
there
give you directions.
He was adamant last night that there'd be a vaccine for sure before the new year and possibly even early December, the way he talked last night. So we'll see if that happens as well.
Boy, that would be the best news of all time. Of course, none bigger than what Jonas Salk found that has saved so many lives over the years. What do you say?
Are you confident though that this vaccine will be effective? Is it, you just want a vaccine, anything that has the word vaccine in it, or do we want to see if it really works?
Well, they've had to make sure it works. They couldn't put something out there that hadn't been approved.
Well, they've fast-tracked the testing process. Normally this is years because you want to know what the long-term effects are.
And Bill Gates and Taki, the ones doing it.
Yeah, that makes
the billionaire.
What is our?
That makes a lot of people say,
What is our telephone number, right?
People have already said they won't take it anyway, but I'm just saying. I mean, for some of the older population, I think I would probably take it.
Well, I agree with you. There's going to be a vaccine. Here's why they got to have a vaccine, because the economy is far worse than we realize. And the only thing that might save the economy is to say, oh, we got a vaccine, wave the magic wand, everything's back to normal. Stock market will go through the roof. It's already gone through the roof. I can't understand that. But, yeah, I would say within couple months we're going to have. Russia has already announced a vaccine. They're doing it all around the world.
That's going to be some good information, don't you think? I mean, if Russia can find out, surely,
if it works, yeah, right.
Surely they would share it with us, wouldn't they?
I think they said they would.
Coach, look at that.
Putin's going to ride up to the White House on a horse with his shirt off.
Putin's daughter took the who is a scientist, took the vaccine.
Y'all know Putin is one of the wealthiest men in the world.
I would bet so.
A lot of people say he might be the wealthiest man in the world. Of course, that came out yesterday.
Bill, have you heard that pink eye may be a COVID-19 symptom in children?
I think I had heard that, but
I've heard that too. How about a runny nose? Now, when have you heard that a runny nose was a symptom?
Runny nose is just a common preschool thing. My daughters have runny noses every day of their lives.
No, but what I'm saying, they say that runny nose is a possible.
Well, how do you deal with the runny nose and the mask? And then my wife is explaining to me this. Everybody's getting maskne, which is some kind of acne from you're wearing the mask all day. You get breakout around your mouth.
I'm sure they recommend women not to wear
let me tell you
makeup.
this: I kissed what I thought was a pretty girl yesterday, but I was wrong. Hey, but the problem is, I would be tickled. Now, this is not really that funny, but I'd be tickled to know how many people with masks went in to the bank and we're going to do business with the banker and said, hand over all your money with a mask on. I wonder how many times in the world that has been used
in the past. Somebody would come in with a hoodie or something in the convenience store, and you'd be on alert.
Exactly
now
right.
you can't do that.
I don't pay attention a lot. I mean, I really go in a lot of places with sunglasses and a hat and a mask on because I just keep my sunglasses on. I always forget.
Yeah. They don't want you to wear sunglasses?
NHL.com and look at the new protective stadium in Birmingham. It's already starting to come to shape. 55,000 seat stadium that will be right next to the Sheridan, the BJCC Conference Center. UAB will play all their home games there. That's going to be really nice.
Will they play a lot of high school games there too, or do you know?
I would imagine they would move the state championship game there from here on out. I mean, 55,000 fans is more than enough.
Exactly right. Of course, let's take a look at a few of the high school scores tonight. And, of course, I want to mention our sponsor, ladies and gentlemen, Premier Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, and Ram trucks on the bypass right here in Troy. They've got a inventory sale that will knock your socks off. Remember, nobody beats a Premier deal, nobody, and we appreciate it very much. Looking at some scores, or not scores, of course, there were a few games played, but most of them out of our region. But looking at some games tonight that are of interest, of course, Montgomery Academy, who is coming off Rice, maybe their best year ever. I think they were undefeated in regular season and went a long ways in the 3A polls. Will play 5A Charles Henderson.
No, Montgomery Catholic.
Montgomery Catholic. What did I say?
You said Montgomery Academy.
Oh, my bad. I'm sorry.
Has Troy ever played Montgomery Academy?
No, they've never played Montgomery Academy. But again, this is Montgomery Catholic.
They've played Trinity before.
Yeah, this is Montgomery Catholic, and who, like I said, lost their first game to Pike Road, and now plays at Charles Henderson. You would think that the 5A team would win here. What do you think,
I look at it, you lost a lot of personnel, and it's going to be a tough game. Doesn't matter what classification it is, based upon when you lose 8 to 10 players for whatever reason.
Yep.
It's going to hurt, and I think it'll be a close game.
Yeah.
Well, who do you think's going to win? This is a picking show.
Okay, I'll pick.
Well, this is not official.
I'll pick Catholic.
Okay.
Do you really? Catholic coming to Charles Henderson and win that game?
No way. A 3A private school can beat a 5A public school.
Well, Brantley's coming to Troy. Who you gonna pick then?
I'll
pick Brantley.
Hey, that's gonna be a big game, but Charles
Brantley's
Henderson.
coming to Troy.
Last game of the year,
sure.
Brantley versus Troy.
Oh,
Charles
like
Henderson.
I'm like you.
It makes you feel like Forrest Lee knows something, but Catholic got blown out by somebody the first week. I don't know if it was a jamboree or if it really counted.
And I wouldn't think that Catholic will be good every year because of the numbers, the size of the school. But I could see him taking Catholic. But I'm gonna go with Charles Henderson in this game.
Me too.
How about you, Mike? Who do you like?
You know what? For some reason, I think Forrest knows something. I'm going to go with Forrest.
Hey, look, see Forrest run, Forrest, run. And of course, Forrest would have been a heck of a fullback. Wouldn't you have had a hard time stopping him from a yard out?
Yeah.
Only thing I can think is that Forrest thinks that Marlbury was not very good, and they beat Charles Henderson.
Well, you know,
I
they're
think
5A
Marlbury was
school.
good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think they were too. You know, that area is full of football players, Mike. That's the same area that you got Wetumpka and Stanhope Elmore and Prattville, and that's that same general area, you know.
Yeah, they're saying that their game against Pike Road counted, so they've got them on max prep as 0-1. So Pike Road beat Montgomery Catholic 63-34.
Yeah, that was.
I saw that the Pike Road quarterback was the Channel 12 Fever Country Player of the Week.
His name is Iverson. I think that's his first name, Iverson. You know.
So if Pike Road scores 63, what do you think Charles Henderson has to score to win? You think they're going to be in the 40s?
I think it would be a high-scoring game. Charles Henson's got some players left, I think, but like you said,
I think it's going to be low scoring.
When you can lose a guy like Geis, who is a 300-pound Division 1A prospect, Northcutt, who is another Division 1A prospect, Baker, which is another division, he's a guy 6'7", 350 or something like that.
Who's playing quarterback?
Well, the backup quarterback from a year ago is their quarterback.
You know, I saw part of the replay yesterday, but I can't call that kid's name. I don't have a roster.
Where did you see that replay?
It was on
Troy Cable?
Troy Cable, yeah. The Charles Henderson Marbury replay.
Oh, I didn't know that. And, of course, you can probably
It went
watch
down to
that
the wire.
Uh-huh. Oh, yeah, Charles Henderson had the ball late in the ball game inside their 10-yard line. They couldn't score twice, I think.
Are we sure Montgomery Catholic's 3A?
No.
All right, they're in the same league with Pike County and Goshen, aren't they?
I'm not sure. That's what I'm trying to find out.
Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know, but you know, it's not. You know, it's a private school.
I'm just surprised they're playing 2 5A schools to start the season.
Yeah, well, they might need to get ready. Of course, all right, everybody pretty much likes Charles Henson.
No, well, we got two.
Yeah, 2 people that liked him, 2 people didn't.
2 people that didn't. Well, you're exactly right.
They don't care. Jim atop a hill.
Yeah, okay. Teaching us to work and play and giving us a will. Symbol of 1,000 joys to those who hold you dear.
They played Goshen and Pike County, so yeah, they are 3A.
That's right. So it'll be interesting, and I'm
Well,
sure.
I'll tell you what, it's not good for Charles Henderson if they get beat by, 2 3A teams back to back?
Yeah.
That would
Well, I'll
not
tell
be
you
good.
this, that the coaches from Goshen and from Pike County High School will be at this game to scout that Catholic team, I would think.
Buy your tickets
I
online.
would imagine Fred Holland and Bart Snyder will probably sit right next to each other and compare notes.
Exactly right. Another thing, this Holland lady that won the
City Council seat?
city council.
I think her husband's Michael Holland,
I was just wondering if this one was one of the football coaches.
but he played at Pike County.
Right.
Michael did. He's
Yeah,
a
I
big
guess.
old fella too.
You got Fred and Doug.
Yeah, that's right.
Football coach just won a state championship, and then Fred's going to win a state championship hopefully soon in football.
Yeah. All right, here we go. Headland at Abbeville, and this is a huge rivalry. Those teams are located about 10 miles apart, and they don't like each other.
Troy Cable in Headland and Abbeville these days?
No, well, yeah, they're in both those places. But this should be a good game. Headland and Abbeville, both teams coming back with good teams, so this is going to be a tough one for us. Who do you like?
Headland.
Headland, he did that in a hurry. Did you notice that?
You know, Headland lost their coach that won, I think he started the season 10-0, maybe last year or the year
Yeah.
before. He left. So I don't know who their head coach is now.
Headland's supposed to be pretty good, I think.
I have no
But
idea.
Abbeville is usually pretty good too.
Yeah, I know it.
That's a tough game to pick. I guess I'll go. Where's this game being played?
Played at Abbeville.
I'll take Abbeville.
Of course, Abbeville is, if you go there, there's got a lot of good eating places. Jimmy Rain has made Abbeville a wonderful place to live.
He's turning into a real-life Mayberry. Is what they
It really is, and it's just a fabulous place. And, of course, he just continues. Well, they say that he's the wealthiest man in Alabama. I reckon he do what he wants to. But
You know who is
what a great citizen.
You know who's one of his top employees is? One of his right-hand ladies?
Who's that?
Is Sandra Huggins Lee. She goes by Sandy now, but the Huggins, y'all remember Huggins Real Estate and the Huggins family?
Yeah, oh yeah.
That is, she works for Jimmy Rain real closely.
Well, I tell you what, he is an outstanding man, and you know, he's given to so many different things over the years. All right,
I'm going with Headland because I hear that Headland is a really fast-growing community. You know, kind of a bedroom community of Dothan.
That's right, it sure is. But you know what? I'm going with the Abbeville Yellow Jackets. Who do you like, Mike?
I went with Abbeville. This is a practice week, so these games don't count. Isn't that correct?
Yeah, no, these games do count.
I know. I'm talking about this is a practice week for us. They don't count on our.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right. This is a practice
scrimmage.
week.
This is scrimmage.
This gets us ready to go.
Yeah.
Okay.
In fact, we're gonna have to let Forrest go. Is that right?
Yeah, I got to open up the golf course.
Farley, you know, we're just having a good time. Some other games there
Bring me
that
some
you.
coffee before you leave.
I will.
Before you leave, I've got the.
Why don't you just take a commercial break?
All right, we will, but I'd like to mention this.
$12 golf at Brundage Country Club.
That's right. Elba ad op.
22 with
You
a
got to
card.
give me a score, a winner of that one. Elba ad op.
Elba at op. I'm going with op.
Well, it's going to be a great game. We're going to take a short break. We'll be right back.
Our history is woven with the stories of those we serve. At Max, we've been a good community partner for 65 years. Max is dedicated to providing dependable financial services and to supporting our communities. We volunteer our time and share our resources. As a credit union, we've returned millions of dollars back to our members, local nonprofits, and small businesses. Max is honored to be a part of your story. We look forward to serving you for years to come.
Right here, right now. It's a double dose of savings. Yes. Summer clearance event savings. Plus Labor Day savings. 2020 Wranglers. Start at $289 a month. 2020 Ram 1500. Save it to $17,377. The biggest selection. Better discount. Best deal. New 2020 Jeep Cherokee. Save up to $10,000. Save over $9,800 on new Jeep Grand Cherokee. Bad credit, no credit, it doesn't matter. Shop us at PremierTroy.com and save thousands. Nobody beats a Premier deal. Nobody.
Trojan Auto Parts of Troy, home of Napa Know-How. Stop by and see owners Mike and Melissa Kilcrease and their Napa Know-How team with over 100 years of combined experience. We're the only locally owned parts store in Pike County, and we're fully stocked and ready to serve you. We pride ourselves on being your go-to parts store, not only for the simple items, but we specialize in those hard-to-find items as well. Trojan Auto Parts, the right part at the right price at the right time. Napa, a name you've trusted here in Troy since 1945.
Here at Bill Jackson Chevrolet in Troy, we've been doing business the right way for 31 years. But don't take our word for it. We feel our customers express it the best.
Been honest in everything we've discussed with them.
When they say Jackson Satisfaction, they really mean it.
The Jackson satisfaction is real.
By its very nature, doing big things takes resilience and strength. You did the hard part. You did it, and we'll go farther still. Max is proud to be your champion, removing obstacles that get in your way. We make technology easy, saving and funds access uncomplicated, and provide help when and how you want it. You control your money with expert guidance from Max Credit Union. Smart money made simple.
The only girl I ever knew from Troy.
Back to our show, ladies and gentlemen, brought to you by Maxwell Federal Credit Union in Montgomery, Troy, and surrounding areas. Of course, been in business a long time, and of course, for your mortgage rates and your automobile rates and most of your insurance needs, you can get it through the Max Federal Credit Union right here in Troy. And we appreciate so much their support of our show. I also want to mention our good friends at Bill Jackson Chevrolet Ford on the bypass right here in Troy. They're dealing every day with great opportunities to buy either a Chevrolet car or truck. And of course, for many years, the Chevrolet dealership is now also the Ford dealership, Bill Jackson Chevrolet Ford in Troy. Of course, we've got a few high school games. We will mention this, Rice. The reason you don't see a Goshen or a Pike County helmet is because they're not playing.
Okay.
They don't start their season until next week. Now they've had to wait a long time.
They have.
What do you think about that, Mike?
Yeah, I mean, it's just one of those things where they decided to just play area games, so we kind of knew what was going to happen.
Yeah, and of course, we don't have any idea.
So how many games will they play then?
I think we read it was going to be 7 games.
What, is that all?
Yeah, we talked about
it. All right, excuse me. Not counting the playoffs, though. Is that right?
Well, not counting the playoffs. That's why I said I talked about with the fact that Coach Holland always has great teams, but they maybe wear down late in the season. I expect if Pike County has a really good year, they'll really advance farther in the playoffs because they won't be so worn out.
And I tell you, it's going to be a real challenge for Coach Holland, who I have as much respect for as any coach out there. He's a great coach, and of course.
Okay, the head coach of Elba is a guy named Mark Sieving, Sieving. He is the new head coach. He was a 15-year assistant football coach at Enterprise High School. Also spent 6 years as a head coach at Dolphin Junior High.
He came out of a junior high school, Mike. Mm-hmm. And Charles Henderson Junior High beat them this past week.
Mm-hmm. I know, but I'm just saying he was 15 years as assistant football coach at Enterprise High School, too.
Oh, yeah, I got you.
So he's the head coach at Elba now. You know, he won his first game against Delville 50-0.
Sure did. Very impressive, and congratulations to him in his first ball game. And
that being said, though, I think I'm going to go up.
Yeah. But I'm going to tell you this, when it comes down to, if I had to put a high school football team in a book and describe them, no better football towns anywhere than Opp and Elba. They love their football as much as any two little towns in the country. So, I mean, and that would be the two teams I would pick. As far as their love.
When you were growing up and when I was growing up, they were both very, very tough, very good in football, and they loved it. Yeah, you're right.
And they still do. And, of course, this game is a battle
They've got tradition.
You're right. And Opp scored 60 last week, Mike. And
well, I'm going to go with where's the game played? That's where I'm going.
They're going to play that Opp.
I'm going with Opp then.
Well, I know people get tired of hearing this, but we used to play Opp every year, the first game of the year, and they wore
black and gold.
Black and gold, and we'd run our wind sprints, and I usually was the leader of all this stuff, and we'd start and I'd say Opp, 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 Opp. That would be our wind sprints that we would get us fired up for Opp. And
that's very interesting. Opp beat Geneva 67-14. They have a quarterback named Hal Smithart.
That's right.
Smithart. All he did was throw for 6 touchdown passes, all in the first half.
Oh, man.
He was 17 of 21 for 323 yards.
I knew he was good.
I mean, that's incredible. I mean, even practicing to complete 17 out of 21 for 323 yards and 6 touchdowns. I mean,
in one half, that is incredible.
Yeah, and another thing, tell us who Opp scored.
This makes me like my Opp pick a little better.
Yeah, I'm glad.
Well, let me ask you this: who is Opp's coach? We need to know who that is.
I'm not seeing. I'll have to find that out.
But I'll tell you what, you're right. That's impressive. And this Smithart did not even play in the second half against Geneva?
No, they were so far ahead.
And, Geneva, of course, is not your weakling, It's
I just think we're going to have a lot of blowout games this year. It seems like some programs are doing fine, and then some are having real trouble getting the team together.
Well, there's a lot of this.
When they played Delville, I'm reading about Elba and Delville. Delville had 10 fumbles in the game.
Isn't that amazing? And then Delville, yeah. And Delville.
Apparently, Arrington's got a good quarterback. This kid named Ian Sin. I'm sure that's somebody local. I know a lot of Sins from Troy. Completed 20 or 27 passes for 294 yards and 3 touchdowns, adding another rushing score as the Purple Cats rolled up 519 yards of offense against Dale County.
And I want to know I want to think they trailed at halftime, didn't they? Didn't they trail early in that game? Because I couldn't believe the score. And then, of course, they came back and walloped them.
Arrington was up 19-7 at the half.
Okay, they're 19-7 at the half. And, of course, we know how well Coach Hay.
Headland, you had them on the Pickett show, and Headland lost their first game to Wicksburg, 14-0 last week.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay. The Elba game. I'm gonna take Op because they're playing at home.
I'm going to take Op because they got a quarterback that threw for 370 yards in one half.
You're not going to take him for what I just told you about the quarterback?
Yeah, but now let me tell you now, Elba is no slouch. Of course, Elba's 1A, and we've always said I feel sorry for teams that have to play Elba being 1A because, you never thought of them. You thought them being 3A or 4A, but now they're 1A.
They were once back in the day. They were 4 classifications when I was in high school, 1A through 4A, and Charles Henderson was in 3A and Elba was in 3A. The next to biggest classification.
Exactly right. If you don't mean that, you don't do that bonnet, that means something on those Elba heads too. That's going to be a great football game. If you were looking for just a good football game to go to, I'd go to Chanel Lee Field in Opp, Alabama tonight, and that game's going to be a good one. But I'll tell you one that might be even better is this one. Flomaton, one of the top teams in there, in I want to say 3A every year, is playing at Arrington. Excuse me.
Hey, listen to this, Dad. This game didn't even get picked up, according to Stephen Kilcrease, until Saturday on August the 22nd, that Arrington agreed with Flomaton to play this game. Flomaton was going to play a team, Northview out of Florida.
Yeah.
And Arrington was going to play Goshen. So these two coaches got together last minute and scheduled this game. So this is exciting for Coach Kilcrease and Chuck Dunn at Arrington.
Let me just say this, and I hate to say it, as good as I like Arrington in most every game, Flomaton is going to win this football game. Flomaton has a solid football program. And I'm gonna say Flomaton's going to go to Arrington in a classic game now, but I think Flomaton's probably going to win it.
I can't go against Coach Kilcrease and Coach Dunn, though.
You're right. They're very good.
It seems like they're going against a bigger school that would be the favorite, but they're playing in Arrington.
And I would think, they're playing in Arrington. And of course,
Arrington can do it.
You don't go to Robert F. Zoomstein Stadium in Arrington and think you're going to get an easy win.
Right, Zoomstein Stadium. And named after Dr. Zoomstein, a lot of people in Troy went to. Basil Drake, the late great Basil Drake that I admired as much as anybody in Troy. Came to Troy after living in Chicago, and of course that's Sam Drake's dad. But he always told me, he said, if you want a good doctor, go to Arrington and see Dr. Zoomstein. And, Basil Drake is where I get the old battle cry, glory.
He said it.
And he always said glory. But
Basil was a great Trojan.
But you're right. It's a wonderful place to play football. This will be another great game you could go to and eat a good hot dog. Wait a minute, though. They're going to have them pre-wrapped. But,
I hope they do it, though. I hope they pre-wrap
them. That's right. And it will be good. But that's going to be a great game, Flomaton at Arrington.
Hey, guess what I had for the first time yesterday?
What?
Cheeseburger from Crows.
I haven't. Was it good?
It was pretty good. It's different. I think they put their same sauce that they put on the chicken nuggets on the cheeseburger.
Oh, do they? Okay.
Really? They put the famous sauce, the Crow sauce, on a burger. That's interesting.
And it was a little different, but it was a good change of pace. Yeah. My wife got it. She'd heard about it, and she's on the diet, and so she only ate a couple bites, and so I helped her eat the rest of her cheeseburger. But I had the nuggets, of course.
Well, of course they.
How does this play in your family? I have a 4 and 2-year-old, and then I guess your kids. What'd you say? You have 8 and 4.
Well, just turned one up. The 8-year-old just turned 9, so 4 and 9.
4 and 9. So as far as leftovers go, when you go to restaurants, and the kids never eat.
That's right.
At least. Every once in a while they'll sit around and actually eat kind of decent, but my wife and I have an issue because we always end up eating some of their food as well.
You don't want to throw it away, and so you eat it. You're right. So if you see me, if you see I put on a few pounds, that's a good reason.
Yeah, you're right.
It's like really good chicken fingers and fries and hamburgers and
grilled cheese ham.
Yeah, it's a bunch of stuff it's hard not to want to eat.
Yeah,
that's a good point. We're in the same boat, Michael.
What are parents supposed to do there?
Okay, listen, while we're at it now, am I the only one that took Flomaton? Y'all took Arrington?
I'm just taking Arrington just because I think so much of Steven and Chuck. You know, I'm a big fan of that program, so I'm gonna pick them.
They're class people too, and they're good influences on those kids.
No question about it. One of the great high schools in this part of the country.
I tell you what, that's a combination you need to look at right there. Some jobs come open locally. Not saying we know what jobs are going to come open at the end of the season, but those are two guys that could easily make the jump to a 5A, 6A school in a heartbeat.
No question about it. Northside Methodist now, this is a team that just jumped from the Alabama Independent Schools to the Alabama High School Athletic Association, and they already played.
Where are they from, Mike?
Game. They're from Dothan.
Okay.
They're from Dothan, the big church there in Dothan, and has a... is that one of my children doing that?
No, your children are at preschool.
But you know, they played last week and did pretty well. And in fact, I want to say they won the football game and over Houston County. But they've got a big game this week at Providence. Now you're talking about a big rivalry brewing here. Providence, coached by Kenny Keith, who's a former Charles Henson
So that's
guy.
two church schools that are in the Public School Association, and Providence has done very well.
Yeah, that's right. And Providence is on this side of Dothan and going up against Northeast. I knew when this school opened, I said it won't be a private school long because it's growing so fast.
Yeah.
You know, this is a church school, but a big church school. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'll give this game. I think Providence Christian is just a little bit ahead as far as athletes. I'll take Providence Christian.
I cannot go against my old teammate and friend Kenny Keith or Kenneth Keith. I'm real proud of what he's done in his coaching career.
No question about it. But I tell you what, I got to say this: it's going to be awfully hard to beat Northside Methodist. But I'm going to take Northside Methodist to win the game.
Hey, really? Providence has been so good.
I know it. But they lost last week.
They lost to Rehoboth.
Yeah, that's right. Lost 18-0 to Rehoboth, coached by Pate Harrison, my good friend. And, of course, you know, Pate coached at Goshen, and he was an excellent coach at Dale County. And, of course, he's got Rehoboth playing very well. All right, here's another good one. These are some real good games early. Geneva County at Wicksburg, and that's Geneva County of Hartford, who is good. And they've got a player there, I want to say, is a top-notch player coming out of there.
Prospect, real big prospect.
I don't know.
They got the best running back in the state.
All right, well, all right, that's what Michael said. Where do you get that, Mike?
I mean, there's been several articles written about him.
Yeah. It's 8 o'clock. We're going to take a short break. We're going to be right back with more of Today in L.A. and our preseason football picks.
At the Piggly Wiggly, we proudly support our local farmers and bring you the best they have to offer, all at cost plus 10%. When you shop local, you reinvest in your community. Remember, buy local, shop local. Piggly Wiggly, local since forever.
By its very nature, doing big things takes resilience and strength. You did the hard part. You did it, and we'll go farther still. Max is proud to be your champion, removing obstacles that get in your way. We make technology easy, saving and funds access uncomplicated, and provide help when and how you want it. You control your money with expert guidance from Max Credit Union. Smart money made simple.
Right here, right now. It's a double dose of savings. Yes. Summer clearance event savings. Plus Labor Day savings. 2020 Wranglers start at $289 a month. 2020 Ram 1500. Save it to $17,377. The biggest selection. Better discount. Best deal. New 2020 Jeep Cherokee. Save up to $10,000. Save over $9,800 on new Jeep Grand Cherokee. Bad credit, no credit, it doesn't matter. Shop us at PremierTroy.com and save thousands. Nobody beats a Premier deal. Nobody.
At the Piggly Wiggly, we proudly support our local farmers and bring you the best they have to offer, all at cost plus 10%. When you shop local, you reinvest in your community. Remember, buy local, shop local. Piggly Wiggly, local since forever.
Is that Pete still their manager?
Back to our show, ladies and gentlemen, brought to you by Premier Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, and Ram trucks on the bypass right here in Troy. Of course, Jason Gregory and his staff have another huge, I'm talking about a huge sale going on. It's the after inventory sale, and they've got some tremendous buys on Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, and Ram trucks on the bypass today. So drop by and see them. They'll remember, like the old saying says, nobody beats the premier deal. Nobody, and that's the absolute truth. Okay, back to our show, and we're talking to Mike Amos from Grayton Beach, Florida. Bill Rice is also with us, Junior, who's a regular on our show, and we appreciate him. And I want to mention, we were talking about not Houston County, but
Geneva County.
Yeah, Geneva County High School of Hartford, who has produced some of the greatest athletes of all time over the years, has a running back that is considered one of the best in the state of Alabama.
Yeah, he's just a junior. Apparently, as a sophomore, he ran for 2,000 yards.
Boy.
So he's 6'1", 185 pounds. His name is Emmanuel Henderson. And Henderson apparently got a lot of notice because at the Troy University football camp, he ran a 4.40.
Golly. That's not even on the track.
185 pounds. He is the second overall top prospect in the state of Alabama for the class of 2022.
Yeah.
So apparently he's had USC coaches come in from California to look at him. USC has joined the list of suitors that already include Alabama, Auburn, Georgia, Penn State, South Carolina, and Tennessee.
They'll find you.
So there'll be a lot of college coaches at this game, won't there?
Well, just go ahead and shut it down the next 2 years if I was him.
Well, give us his name again. Last name is Henderson?
Yeah, Emmanuel Henderson.
Emmanuel Henderson.
Remember that name.
Apparently he was a big Florida State fan growing up, he mentioned. Henderson rushed for 2,000 yards and 32 touchdowns as a sophomore. He averaged 199 yards a game on 12.7 yards per carry.
Yeah. So, of course, now let me tell you this now. I want you to hear this real clear. They play, Geneva County plays at Wicksburg. I'll take Wicksburg.
Wicksburg just got beat. Wicksburg just beat Headland, so yeah, I guess they're not bad. I'll take. I mean, a running back like this would be hard to stop. I'll take Geneva County.
I'll take Michael. Just convinced me, Geneva
County. I can see the blue and the gold of Wicksburg right now.
You know, you don't see running backs like this as much as you used to because everybody throws the ball so much.
Well, you know the kid at Daleville last year who gained what was it?
1 million yards, 5,000 yards,
right.
6,000 yards.
Sure did.
He went to going to Georgia Southern.
And then his last
name was I think his last name was White.
Yeah. Michael, wasn't Saran Stacy from Geneva?
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. That's funny. I had that on my mind. I was about to mention that. He was.
But let me you're right, Saran Station.
Geneva County, or he played at Geneva. They're all coached for those Chastines, aren't they, Dad?
Donnie Chastain and his daddy were legendary coaches, but Donnie's not there anymore, I don't think. But you're right, that's where they came from. Of course, Tom Bryan at Auburn, the great running back at Auburn, came out of Hartford. Early Wynn, the Hall of Fame pitcher, came out of Hartford. And then they had one of the greatest players ever played at Alabama, also came out of Hartford. And I don't know why I'm having a hard time remembering his name, but
yeah, this is very interesting though that this guy, I mean, as a sophomore, is getting this kind of attention. This guy must be one of the most legit prospects in a long time to come out of the state of Alabama.
You know, with running backs, that's when they blossom and you learn about them is when they're sophomore years. I mean, Kincaid Pennington was already a star by sophomore. Don Horsted,
right.
you know.
Yeah, you're right. No question about it.
I would say, I guess he started as a freshman, so he played all 4 years. And I'd have to go back and look. I'm sure maybe somebody kept up with stats back then, but I would have to say that Kincaid, other than the year he blew out his knee, and he played pretty much on a torn ACL, I would have to say he averaged like 1,500 yards a year. Yeah. What do you think?
Mm-hmm. Anybody from Elba or Opp or Andalusia or any of those teams can remember the great Kincaid Pennington. He was the most awesome player they've played against in years and years and years. Kincaid Pennington, as fast as this guy is, that ran 4.4, Kincaid Pennington could outrun him.
Oh, yeah, no doubt.
Kincaid Pennington could fly.
Yeah, if you had enough blocks to get Kincaid the corner, nobody was going to catches.
I mean, let me say, a friend of mine from Elba came by our booth, radio booth, our TV booth before the game, and when they played him, and I said, Johnny Sharpless was his name, played at Alabama, and of course, a very good player. I said, Johnny, you're going to see one of the best football players you've seen in a long time. Well, after CK gained 350 yards rushing against Elba that night, he came by before I left. He said, "You're right, man. I'm calling Tuscaloosa as soon as I get home."
I can't believe, and of course, Jeffco was a wishbone guy, and he wasn't going to play any other offense. But can you imagine CK and the spread coming out of the backfield with open space, catching the ball?
Oh, yeah, exactly.
He probably would have had, in an offense like Troy's, he probably would have had 50 catches.
Yeah.
I mean, he's very similar to what one of the best steady running backs in the NFL. I don't know if y'all know this guy, but his name is Darren Sproles. He played at Kansas State.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
And this guy probably played in the league 15, 16 years. But I think he still is playing in the league. But
that's right.
He was a guy, if CK would have played in the right offense, he would have been unbelievable in college.
Yeah, today he would have been perfect with his spread off, because his thing was speed, and he could make a quick cut, and he was tough, but he needed open fields. He wasn't the type of guy that was going to just break 8 tackles on one run. But
of course,
he played in the offense that Rodney Jordan and Dean had, the team that wins the state championship. And if he would have played like they played John Johnson, just everywhere, all over the field on offense, he would have been. Not that he wasn't great. He was just as good as John Johnson.
But he was just so much faster than everybody else.
But John Johnson that year, I called all those games, or called most of them with you, and went to all of them almost. And for a year, John Johnson put up the best numbers I'd ever seen for a Charles Henderson player, an offensive player. He was phenomenal his senior year.
Well,
and it's tragic that we lost John, but CK for a career definitely had the better numbers and put up more stats. But man, that one year, John Johnson in that state championship run was incredible.
And John Johnson, and I've said this so many times during the broadcast. Of course, ladies and gentlemen, I did the television broadcast of Charles Henderson football for 35 years, and I've seen some great ones. But John Johnson reminded me so much of Jim Brown. You would see John Johnson just loafing. He would just be loafing around. I said, it looks like Johnson's out of breath and
he was hurt.
Yeah, or looks like he's hurt or out of breath. And then the next time he gets the ball, he looks like a jet exploding. He's a guy that didn't look like he was even applying himself, and then look at his stats, and he was one of the all-time greats, along with.
I always will wonder, Charles Henderson that one year somehow went down to 4A. I guess it was just a numbers issue.
That's right.
They were one of the biggest schools in 4A, and I always wonder what they would have done in 5A that year. I still think they would have gone deep into the playoffs in 5A as well.
No question about it. And it took a great, let me tell you this, it took a great coaching effort by Don Jacobs to keep him from winning a state championship. Charles Henderson was really good. Don Jacobs backed up his safeties, made Charles Henderson not throw the ball deep. They love to throw the ball deep. Well, he backed up his safeties and took the deep threat away, made them throw underneath, and they didn't have the patience.
Mm-hmm. He also called a great offensive game as well.
It was a great coaching performance by Don Jacobs.
And the crazy thing is, you looked on their sideline, and Charles Henderson probably had about 8 coaches. I think Aniani had about 3.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is crazy.
And again, you're looking at a traditional program, Aniana, that's always good. And of course, they're in a pretty heavily populated area,
where is
Birmingham? North of Birmingham.
39 miles from Birmingham in the mountains.
Yeah.
If you're ever going towards Chattanooga, towards Gaston, it's one of the most beautiful places. It's called Horston's 40.
Yeah, that's right.
You get off the interstate, and there's these huge, massive boulders. They have all kinds of bluegrass festival, but apparently it was, where the Native Americans had, different settlements all around that mountain area.
Yeah, that's right.
You cut through the mountains from right there, and you go to Aniana, which is probably about 10 miles off the interstate.
That's right.
Beautiful little place, kind of surrounded by mountains. Their high school stadium, though, probably holds close to like 9,000 people. It's a huge school stadium for a small town.
Yeah, no question. They love their football. Okay, let's take a look
but
at.
Don Jacobs went to now at Scottsboro.
Yeah. Now let's take a look at some of these games here. All right, I took Wicksburg. Y'all took Geneva County. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Another big game played at Rip Hughes Stadium. You got Bayside Academy out of Mobile, which is a very good program, versus Houston Academy. Houston Academy comes out with a win right off the bat. And Mike, they're coached by one of the all-time great coaches in Alabama football history.
Yeah, Jamie Riggs won over 300 games. Majority of them are at T.R. Miller. And then, of course, I think Houston Academy paid him so much money to come out of retirement he couldn't pass it up. And he's trying to build a program down there. But I'll take Bayside Academy. These kids from Mobile, I mean, they're usually really good. They usually recruit really well.
You're exactly right. They run that wing T and run it very well. You're right. I don't think Houston Academy's can play with Bayside yet. I'm gonna take Bayside. Rice, who do you like?
I agree. Same thing.
Okay. All right. We've got. I mean, you notice most all of these games are rival games. It really is like Slocum at Geneva, the Red Tops, the Slocum Red Tops. You know why they call the Red Tops?
No.
Have you ever had a Slocum tomato, my friend?
No.
The best tomato you have ever put in your mouth. If you go to my grocery store down at the beach, Mike, they have a huge mound of just most beautiful tomatoes you ever seen. And
the carousel?
Yeah, the carousel. It says on the sign, it says Slocum tomatoes, and they are the sweetest, the best tomatoes you'll ever eat.
Well, I'm going for Slocum.
I've been eating a lot of fried green tomatoes lately. I buy a bunch of green tomatoes, and my wife will fry them up, and they're really good.
Oh yeah, they make excellent green tomatoes. But ladies and gentlemen, this is fun to do, and I reckon you're saying, well, I thought y'all were going to do scores, but you're doing history lessons.
We get a little extra.
But
I don't know who'll win this game. I guess I'll take Slocum.
After you just heard that about those tomatoes, how can you go against Slocum?
I'll take Slocum, and also I'll look at Geneva having a terrible game last week. Now Dale County at Daleville. Now, I'll tell you this, Mike, and I think you'll agree with me. We did a game from Dale County one night with Charles Simpson, Dale County. Rice, that's one of the prettiest football stadiums you'll ever see.
I've been to it.
They're at Dale County High School.
I want to say when I played at Charles Henderson, we played Dale County my 10th grade year, and that grass down there was the biggest grass I'd ever played.
That's what I was talking about. Just beautiful.
It was so high. Cleats almost kind of stuck to it.
Well, you know why they did that? So they didn't have to play, didn't have to worry about Kincaid with that high grass.
That's what I'm saying. I want to say that we got up pretty handily. I mean, Morgan Ingram was at quarterback, and those teams were really good. I want to say I got in the second half, and I remember playing in that game. But that was one of the as far as grass, that was the thickest grass I can ever remember playing on as a kid.
And then when we went to do the Charles Henderson Dale County game, that's when they had this running back named Henderson that was so good they gained all those yards.
Well, that was Brian McCoy's first year as Charles Henderson coach, and that's the game where Malzahn was in the end zone watching the whole first half, and I think he rushed for 200 yards in the first half.
And I'll tell you something else about him, and let me just say this is impressive about Malzahn. He came out after a huge rainstorm, stopped the game and lightning and all that, and sure enough, when they started back, there was Malzahn again standing around there by the goalpost, and he could have.
The crazy thing is they didn't even sign him. He ended up signing with Memphis.
I know it. And then it took off. And this kid's stats were the best maybe in the state of Alabama high school history.
Oh, they were. He broke the record, 3,600 yards.
3,600 yards in one season. Isn't that something?
And how did you do it at Memphis? Did he have a good career?
He had a pretty good freshman year, but then he transferred to Troy, and I guess was in Neil Brown's doghouse pretty much the whole time he was there, and then eventually just got kicked off the team.
Yeah, I think he had other responsibilities too.
We have no clue whatever happened. I'm sure Pate Harrison maybe could tell you what happened to Henderson, but he was like a Stephen Coleman, no doubt, in high school.
Nuco Coleman, yeah, golly.
Dale County and Daleville, and on that team there were several Division 1A programs.
Yeah, they had 3 I signed with South Alabama.
Yeah, that's right. All right, so who do you like here? Dale County coming into Daleville.
You got to like Dale County. I mean, they played Arrington close. Only got beat 25-13. Daleville got beat by Elba.
Yeah.
50-0. So definitely Dale County.
And I can see the black and red Dale County, Daleville, excuse me, being tough. They run the option, and boy, they were always tough when we used to play them. I know that.
How can Daleville be that bad? That's hard to believe.
You're right. But everybody's going to take Dale County. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you got to wonder with some of these programs that, does some of the kids just not come out and play? Just decide, we'll skip this year of football. We just don't think it's safe. I don't know.
Or do they have 5 players that aren't playing because of COVID, and then they'll get them back? I don't know.
Okay, Rehoboth playing the host.
Several military kids leave this summer. I don't know.
Yeah. Of course, one of the fastest growing schools in the state of Alabama is located in just west of Dothan, and the name of the school is Rehoboth. Rehoboth playing host to Ashford, and Mike, my good friend Pate Harrison is the new head coach at Rehoboth.
Yeah, Pate, we ought to have Pate on the show. He can call in a lot. He's a good guy.
We will. We'll talk to him some next week, and of course he is an excellent coach, and I just cannot see Ashford going to Rehoboth and winning that game. I like Rehoboth.
Charles Henderson is senior night tonight. They moved it to tonight.
Okay, that's great. So we'll come on a little bit early. Okay, tonight we've just been told that tonight is senior night at Charles Henderson High School. That goes to show me that they're not sure they'll make it all the way through or not, but they will have their senior night, and that means the show will probably come on as around 6:30 time, I would think, so they could get that in. Those introductions.
Well, they just walk the players out with their parents, and
that's right.
Give the mama some flowers or something.
Exactly right. So I'll take Rehoboth. Everybody else takes Rehoboth.
Y'all sound pretty confident, so I'm going with y'all.
All right, Houston County at Florella. Florella has improved tremendously.
You're really coming up with some interesting games. Florella and Houston County.
Yeah, I'll take Houston. I'll take Florella to beat Houston County.
I'll take Florella.
All right, they're much more improved.
I'll take Florella.
All right, here's a good one that's local. Kinston at Zion Chapel. And Zion Chapel will play this game at Wildcat Stadium in Enterprise, their beautiful stadium. And I think
Randy Bryant, I think they finished 500 last year, 5-5.
Yeah,
and
wonderful
got into
coaching.
The playoffs due to the fact that Highland Home, who'd won the area, had to forfeit several games because of a player that I heard didn't even play a whole lot, was not supposed to be playing in games, was supposed to be sitting out. But so, I mean, I figure with Randy Bryant in 5 games at Zion Chapel, he would be having a lot of people interested in him to come to rebuild their programs, but he's still there. And Kinston is right down the road, 1A school. I'll take Zion Chapel.
I got Zion Chapel.
I got Zion Chapel, too.
Okay, now Carroll of Ozark is off, New Brockton is off, Goshen's off, Pike County is off, and GW Long is off. But we've got a huge game here in Troy tonight as Pike Liberal Arts plays host to Crenshaw Christian Academy. Pike Liberal has really gotten a lot of players over the off-season that could make them very good here. I'm going to take Pike Liberal to beat Crenshaw tonight. Who do you like, Rice?
Just based on all the players I've heard that Pike Liberal Arts has now got in their program, definitely Pike Liberal Arts. I mean, they're bringing big public school players in. Now they're going against Wayne Grant, and nobody's been a better high school coach than Wayne Grant the last 30 or 40 years. And I know Crenshaw beat Pike last year, and they're playing at Pike, so definitely Pike Liberal Arts.
Should be a big game tonight from
Let's be honest, coaching, this is a huge mismatch. I mean, you're talking about one of the greatest coaches in Alabama high school history in Wayne Grant going against Mario White that I believe this is his first actual head coaching game of his career other than the jamboree he had last week. I think he was a junior high coach at Tuscaloosa Academy, was the head coach of the junior high, maybe was a Pee Wee coach at Tuscaloosa Academy, but was an assistant at Tuscaloosa Academy under John Copeland, of course, the great Alabama player, and maybe was an assistant coach with the baseball program as well. But, I mean, you're talking about your first game ever as a head coach in high school football going up against, let's be honest, you have people say the GOAT, the greatest of all time. Grant's got to be up there. I don't know how many state championships he won at Pike County, maybe 6. So if it comes down to coaching, you got to lean towards Crenshaw. But if it comes down to athletes and players, and I mean, you got to go with Pike Liberal Arts. I mean, they've got, what did you say, 2 or 3 kids from Charles Henderson that were Division I prospects. And you got to give White credit. He's playing his son at quarterback, who's a tremendous athlete, top baseball player in the country. He's running him a lot, too, which is very surprising. I think he rushed for over 100 yards against Betsburg Academy.
That's right, 130, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's running him a lot as well, so he's not scared to run him.
Okay, who do you like?
I'm going to lean Pie Liberal Arts, but I would not be shocked at all if Crenshaw, because Grant is just that good of a coach.
He is that good a coach. He has a lot of patience. He'll run between the tackles. His goal will be to keep the ball away from
Grant coached the Pie Liberal Arts about 5 years ago, I guess.
Oh, yeah, no question about it.
I mean, he's very familiar with the program and the kids, but I guarantee you, Grant's been getting players out of Luverne. Grant's been getting players out of Holland Home. Grant's been getting players out of Brantley. They're going to have some talent.
Yeah, that's a good point.
A couple of
they played for the state championship last year.
Yeah.
All right, I went ahead and took Pike Liberal. Who do y'all like?
Pike Liberal, but that was a great analysis by Michael.
Sure was. A couple of other games of note. Eufaula, this is a heck of a game. Central Phoenix City plays at Eufaula. Eufaula, of course, look.
Wow, that's a game to drop to right there.
Yeah,
wow. Ed Rigby going against Central Phoenix City.
And you know who the new head coach at Central Phoenix City is, don't you?
Yeah, Patrick Nix. They played Hoover tough. They only got beat 45-35.
Yeah, exactly. So that's going to be a good game at Eufaula.
You know Patrick Nix's son, I think he's a 10th grader or 11th grader. He's already one of the top recruits in the state of Alabama.
So there's another Nix coming?
Yep.
Yeah, Troy offered him as a 9th grader. You remember when we talked about that on the show?
Okay, yeah. All right.
Chip Lindsey's already offered him as a scholarship to Troy.
Yeah. And then now, of course, I'll take Central to win that game, but it's going to be quite a game.
Yeah, man, Eufaula's good. I wouldn't be. Is that Eufaula? I won't pull the upset. I want to take Eufaula.
And Coach Rigby, a good friend of ours, is a very good football coach.
He lives in Troy, I would think. He drives to Eufaula every day.
That's right. Exactly right. All right, we don't have.
That sounds like the game. That's the game of the week in the state, I would say, or especially in South Alabama.
No question.
Yeah, I'll definitely be trying to keep up with that game tonight. That's a great game.
I would think Phoenix City has a lot more athletes than Eufaula, and Phoenix City has been tough the last couple of years, man. So, and Coach Nix is obviously a fantastic coach.
No question about it.
Tonight, our cousin Brent Bedsole is a receiver coach at Spanish Fort. I want to say Spanish Fort and St. Paul are live tonight on ESPN.
That's right.
So we can watch that game tonight, and then tomorrow night we watch the debut classic at Crampton Bowl that Johnny Williams is putting on.
Of course, that's going to be the first college game of the season.
It'll be interesting if Vegas will have a line on that game. Usually they don't have lines on 1AA games, but I would think maybe they might put a line on it.
Yeah. Well, that should be a good one. Of course, Carver at Enterprise. I'm going to take Enterprise to beat Carver.
No, I'll take Carver.
All right. Okay.
I'll take Enterprise.
I will too.
Well, Carver was good a couple of years ago. They've kind of fallen off of him.
Now, how's the Enterprise and Carver going to play? This game must be at Carver.
Yeah. No, it's at Enterprise. How does that work? You're right.
Chapel's playing Enterprise tonight.
I know. Well, maybe that's that might be.
Do you think Carver and Enterprise is on Saturday?
Could be. Why not?
You would think that Zion Chapel would play at home. Maybe we've got them mistaken there. I'm not sure. But again, the game in Crampton Bowl in Montgomery pits Austin P against Central.
Let's pick that one. Let's pick
Arkansas, and I'm gonna take Central Arkansas.
I'll take Austin P just to.
All right, then Austin P. Of course, the fight song.
Austin P. They won 11 games last year, but Central Arkansas has been really good for a long time. And Austin P. lost, Mark Husband, their head coach, right before the season. So I would think that would have to be a factor. I'll take Central Arkansas.
And these are 1AA teams, ladies and gentlemen. And, of course, this game's put on by ESPN, led by our good friend Johnny Williams. Will be.
What would you say the crowd would be at this game? I'll say 5,000.
That's about what I would say.
No, they said they limited tickets to 2,500.
Yeah, that's right.
They didn't even sell tickets.
And again, you can't even. You're right. You can't even walk up and buy a ticket. I don't think.
No,
I don't know how it works exactly. But it's going to be a great weekend, and of course, a lot of people will be watching this game to see how he does it, and see what kind of measures the pro and con they need to.
I heard a sports anchor yesterday said it could be the highest ratings of a 1AA game in history.
Yeah, I bet it will be. I bet it will be. And my buddy Johnny Williams will be putting it on and does a great job. Hope you had a great, you enjoyed our show today, and you have a great weekend. Good luck to all these teams, and go out and support your high school teams, and we'll see you next week.